With 5 weeks to go before the 2021 CMA Awards, country music fans still don't know who will be hosting. However, Billboard has confirmed it won't be Veteran Country Music Awards host Reba McEntire. If not Reba, then who? I mean, it is possible they ask Underwood's co-host of 11 years, Brad Paisley, to come back for another show, though after 2 years of transition from Paisley and Underwood's time together, it's more likely they'll bring in a completely new host or co-hosts for the show on November 10th. Kelsey Ballerini and Kane Brown hosted the 2021 CMT Awards. Maybe they'd be on the list? Well, if you have many questions floating around in your head like I do, I'm calling in Taste of Country's Billy Dukes because he's got some info on this one. And I've got to get to the bottom of why Reba got booted this year. And, well, quite frankly, is she mad about it? Alrighty, let's bring Billy Dukes in. Hey, Billy.
Hey, Addison.
Did Reba get fired?
No, she didn't. She just didn't get picked. And we know this because Billboard shared a portion of their interview in breaking this news, where they quoted her as saying, more or less, she just hadn't heard from the CMAs. The CMAs later confirmed that they were moving on to another host who is going to be announced in a few weeks. Hosting gigs are single show contracts usually, so no one's ever really fired. You just kind of get ghosted.
But why? Why not bring Reba back for a third year?
I know you're a pretty passionate University of Texas A&M football fan, Addison. So what happens when the Aggies have a bad year? The coach has got to go, regardless of whose fault it is. Ratings have been really bad the last 2 years for the CMAs and all award shows really. That's due in large part to the pandemic and how people are watching television. The popular opinion is that audience isn't going to return without some good reason. Basically, the show needs something new and someone new. Of course, the Country Music Association didn't and won't comment on exactly why they moved on from Reba. This is sort of a mix of my arguably educated opinion and some common sense. I'm not certain that anyone really intended to have Reba back for 2 years, to be honest. In 2019, if you'll remember, the show moved on from Carrie Underwood and Brad Paisley to Carrie and Reba with Dolly Parton, and that very much seemed like a transition year to someone new. But then, in 2020, the right move was someone familiar and someone who could handle a pretty tricky social political climate. There was and still is a great call for diversity in country music, and other country award shows were ahead of them in some forward-facing ways. Interesting thing is that you really have to squint to see who the CMAs might have been preparing for that job.
Oh, adding some Aggie football in there, Billy. You know I love it. Okay, I know you have an idea of who might be the next host, and I'm here for that. But first, do you think there is bad blood between Reba and the CMAs?
No way. Reba's a real professional, and she's as professional as they come, and she understands that sometimes you're picked, and sometimes you're not. If they call her for 2022, she's going to answer that call. It's a pretty transactional relationship. In fact, the day after this news broke, Taste of Country spoke with Reba about hosting, and she had nothing but nice things to say about her career as a host. She said she absolutely loves hosting award shows, and she really loves live television. She even offered advice to potential hosts, saying, the most important thing is to be directable. If the show is going short or if the show is going long, you need to adapt. If she's bitter, she's hiding it really, really well.
Okay, Billy, I'm ready for this. So then who is going to be the next host of the CMA Awards?
I think Darius Rucker returning solo or with a relative newcomer seems really likely. You want your host to naturally draw the country crowd in as well as those fringe fans. That's really what's most important, and Darius does that in a lot of ways. He's also really good on camera, and he's not going to take risks. Another person is Thomas Rhett. For years, the popular opinion was that the CMAs were grooming Thomas and Kelsey Ballerini to take over from Brad and Carrie. Kelsey seems to be less likely these days, but TR and his wife did just host the CMA Country Christmas in 2020. I don't think his wife Lauren would join Thomas, however, on account of her expecting a baby in November. In fact, that may negate TR as well. I think another no-brainer choice would be Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood, if they're willing. Luke Bryant seems possible because American Idol is also on ABC, but I think if they wanted to choose Luke, they would have done it already. I do not believe Blake Shelton will be chosen, nor do I think Tim McGraw and Faith Hill are possible, if only because their new show 1883 is on Paramount Plus, which is a CBS property. The ACMs are on ABC. And then, of course, there's a real long shot that would make a lot of sense, probably won't happen. But, I won't get into that.
Okay, Billy, I'll bite. Who do you think should host the 2021 CMA Awards?
Oh, thanks for asking, Addison. Great question. The CMA host needs to be someone that transcends the genre, but has Nashville roots. Someone who is naturally good on television. Someone, perhaps, who was part of one of the all-time great CMA moments. What if Justin Timberlake hosted the show? And I know this will really upset the traditional crowd, so maybe you pair him up with someone really established. But he's really good television. He lives in Nashville. He has a bar downtown. Country fans know him from his performance with Chris Stapleton from 5 years ago. And most importantly, he'd bring a new kind of energy to the CMAs without sacrificing an older demo. Frankly, that's what's been missing from mostly every awards show for the past half of a decade. The usual suspects have a very, very short shelf life.
Wow, Billy, Justin was not even remotely who I thought you were going to be thinking of. But you make some really good pointers of why, though, he would make a good candidate. You know what we've got to do now. Let's hear from our viewers. Okay, y'all, who do you think should be the host of the 2021 CMA Awards? Let's get this conversation going in the comment section of this video. The CMA Awards will take place at Nashville's Bridgestone Arena and will air live on ABC at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Per an email on October 6th from the Country Music Association, a limited number of tickets for the show will be available to the general public. However, all ticketed attendees will need to be fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and wear a face mask. I'm Addison Hager for Taste of Country.
And I'm Billy Dukes.
Make sure you hit that thumbs up button if you like videos like this. And if you're not subscribed to our channel already, do that really quick. Thanks for watching.
And thanks for subscribing.